This morning I'm here to celebrate Alec Guinness. It's very early in the morning, and last night I slept out on the ground, which is why I have a blanket wrapped around me, and that wasn't intentional, although it seems strangely appropriate because in celebrating Alec Guinness, who was a British actor who starred in things like Lawrence of Arabia, Dr. Zhivago, and many other films. To me, he was a very important man for the role that he played in the Star Wars trilogy as Obi-Wan Kenobi. And so, yes, the blanket seems somewhat fitting, though it wasn't intended. And it also seems strangely appropriate where I'm recording this today because I'm in a part of the forest which has been cleared for logging. You can't really see that here, but around me looks like a battlefield. There are huge piles of trees stacked up and piles of brush, and it's a scene of devastation. It does look like how I imagine a battlefield might look after the fighting is over, and and again, that's appropriate in my mind because of the connection with Star Wars and Obi-Wan Kenobi's role in that film. Now, it may seem like I'm really twisting things here to be celebrating a character in a film and then using this actor, Alec Guinness, as a means of, as a vehicle for talking about that. And that's not exactly the case because actors, obviously, they're playing roles. The characters that they inhabit are it's difficult to define exactly the role that they play in the lives of other people. The very origins of theatre, Greek theatre, the tragedies and comedies, were used as vehicles of examining human relationships with the gods, and were, I mean, in cultures around the world, shaman wear masks, and dancers and musicians embody the dramas played out in the myths of those cultures. And an actor that really plays their role well disappears. They become that character, something that people can believe in so fervently, so vividly, that they forget that they're watching an actor. And that is something worthy of honouring the actor for. That's the genius of an actor, when they can dissolve so completely into a role that they're playing. And that's very interesting because we're all playing roles for each other in our lives, though we may realise it or not. So Alec Guinness, for me, played a role so convincingly that me as a young boy growing up, he became synonymous with Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I suppose still does to this day. Now, the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi was the wise man. Who he was also the what's the term for it? He was mentor in the life of Luke Skywalker. Mentor from the Greek mythology is the man who is it he's there for? I think it's Telemachus, who is a young man whose father, who is king, has gone away to participate in a war, and he's been left there alone, and the kingdom is in disarray in the absence of his father, and he so dearly wants to have a positive role in his community, and he meets Mentor, who takes him under his wing and shows him the way, as it were, or at least reflects back to him what this young man needs to hear in order to to go on and be the man that he is to grow into. And so Obi-Wan Kenobi is a very strong archetype, that of the person that reaches out to a young man who's flailing and is lost, and not just a young man, a young person, and is able to offer them another point of view, and it is a steadying hand and is a guiding hand, not necessarily to lead but to support. And that's of course why George Lucas included a character like that in his films, because he was very much aware of the hero's journey and the work of, his name eludes me now, the man who was responsible for putting that a hero with 1,000 faces. His name may come back to me. But yes, Obi-Wan Kenobi, when I was a young boy, struck me as, I don't know, somehow Alec Guinness managed to portray a character that reached deep into me, deep into my heart, and gave me the sense of what was possible, what I could strive for. And so for anyone who's not into Star Wars, I'm not going to labour this point too much. For those that do, they'll know exactly what I mean. But I want to today give thanks to Alec Guinness, who through his amazing artistry, his acting ability, was able to instill in myself and also many millions of other young people a steadying hand and a belief that against all odds we may triumph, we may come through. So just a moment of quiet here for Alec Guinness. Thank you.